Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey. We recently took a trip to Bardstown for the barrel dumping for McBraer's fifth batch, the W.H. McBraer 5. We were there with several other people that do YouTube and with Bill. And while we were there, we decided to try to find this bottle which we have struck out on before. We walked in the gift shop and we bought two of the last three bottles that they had. So, Rebecca, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about this bottle and who signed it?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. Just in case someone hasn't heard about Cathedral, we'll talk about it. So this is the Distillery Reserve Cathedral French Oak. It is a blend of Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, but made by Bardstown Bourbon Company. So all these other blends are sourced. Here's how it goes. 45% is a 14-year-old, 37.5% is an 18-year-old, 10% is 11 years old, 5% is 9 years old, and 2.5% is 17 years old. They are all rye mash bills. None of them have wheat in them. After they acquired these barrels and did the appropriate blending to get those percentages, it was then finished for 14 months in very special barrels. In case you haven't heard, these barrels were made from 300-year-old French oak from the legendary Bercé Forest in the Loire Valley. Now, the plot of giant trees planted during the reign of Louis XIV, like in 1715, by the way, was harvested to restore the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris following the fire in 2019. Their intricate grain and unparalleled density is strong enough to restore the cathedral's famed spire, but it also infused the whiskey with a character as profound as the history they represent. Dan Callaway said that these truly singular barrels brought tremendous character to the bourbon. The key was to integrate the commanding barrel flavor with a powerful blend of long-aged bourbons to achieve the balance that let each part shine. So this came out at 110.1 proof. The MSRP is $99.99, but as you can see, it's a small bottle. It's a 375 milliliter. We bought it at MSRP at Bardstown. I will also say that it is one bottle per person now, and they do scan your driver's license and make you have a 30-day waiting period before you can buy again. While we were waiting for our barrel dump with the McBraers to start, I looked up and saw Steve Nally walking down the stairs. Yes, Master Distiller. So that is how we got this signed. It was just like everything came together perfectly that day. Getting two of the last three bottles that were going to be sold that day, as well as having Steve walk by. And then, of course, we had a fantastic experience with the McBraer team. So I am just so excited to have this. We are massive Bardstown fans, and to not have this one on our shelves seemed like it was going to be a travesty. So yay, we have it, and I'm just praying that we really enjoy it.
Well, one thing I remember as well is when I asked Steve to hold up the bottle so we could take a picture with him, he was a little bit worried about dropping it. And I made the comment, well, I have a feeling you can probably get more. And he's like, well, even for myself, I'd have trouble getting another bottle, So, I mean, I was surprised he said that, because I'm thinking, okay, there probably are sort of running out of these.
Yeah, in the beginning, people were allowed to pick up two. Mm-hmm. And what we heard, we talked to several of the employees that day, and we were hearing that the problem was not just that they were getting two, but they were getting two and going to the back of the line and selling it to people who they didn't think were going to make it to the front of the line. So they were selling them on site. They were flipping them right there. I mean, how horrific is that? I just can't even fathom it. Of course, they were selling them at a profit too, right on Bardstown's property. So there are just all kinds of people like that around. We are not those people. And I actually said, I think it's good that you're limiting it to one per person, so more people have a chance to get this. We understand there were only 6 barrels.
Yes.
So that's not a lot of finished product, really.
Let's go ahead and pick up this glass, because
we pulled out the Waterford glasses for this, so we thought it deserved a special pour. It is a lovely color.
It's kind of a mahogany.
It's like a nice mahogany color. It's really pretty. These glasses don't show legs as well as a typical Glencairn because they're such heavy leaded crystal, but I am seeing some some juice like hang on the side of the glass there. We'll probably see it more as we start to drink it, but it is very hefty.
I can see it a little bit, and when I was doing my SLB massage, I could pick up a little bit of the nose on it. So, but I'm curious what it's going to really smell like when I get into it.
Let's take a gander.
Oh, this
interesting wood notes.
On the nose, you're going to think I'm silly. On the nose, it's reminding me of wild turkey. There's something about it. And I'm not saying that's where they got the aged stuff. I don't know.
Well, they got it from several different places.
Yeah.
All the mash bills are kind of different.
It wouldn't surprise me if one of them was wild turkey. I'm getting that. My brain is like going gobble gobble.
Well, what other kind of notes are you getting besides turkey, honey? Like, be more specific.
I'm getting, so whenever I drink turkey or smell it, you get like a brown. I always get brown sugar with it. I get an earthiness with it.
Yeah, brown sugar is a good call. I'm getting some brown sugar on here, some very light spice, but you definitely have some oakiness that's coming through. Not in a heavy, you might think that this very dense 300-year-old oak would be really just coming on too strong. But I also wonder, with the incredible density of this oak, perhaps the bourbon doesn't actually get into it as much as it normally would on other oak.
That could be.
I'm not a scientist, so I'm just wondering, because you have to be able to, the bourbon has to be able to permeate the wood. And if it's so dense that it can hold up the spires of Notre Dame, then it must be pretty dense wood.
There's almost a little bit of a floral note way in the back.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's almost like a candy thing I just got on that last smell.
I'd love to see the barrels that they used.
Oh, that'd be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Oh, I bet those are not being gotten rid of. Those have to be.
There are some sweet notes, almost honey. I'm getting a little bit of honey, which is weird. There's no wheat in this that I saw in any of the mash bills.
Honey's a pretty good call.
And it's kind of reminding me of and I don't eat this candy anymore because my teeth are too old, but the Bitto honey.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's kind of that, because it's kind of nutty and honey at the same time.
It's been a long time since I had a bit of honey, whatever. It's like, if I chewed one now, it'd pull half my rotting teeth out.
You can't do it once you're past 40 years old.
It's sad because it's just a really outstanding candy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to taste it.
I have to.
Yeah.
Cheers.
To Cathedral.
Cheers.
Definitely getting the wood note on the palate. It starts about mid palate for me.
If you do not like wood, don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're somebody like me that for whatever reason I have begun to like wood notes, if you do, this is for you. This is really good, but it is.
It's not tannic though.
No,
it's not, because sometimes you get something. We had something recently that was wooded, and it really dried. It really dried the finish was so drying. I felt like I needed a bottle of water when I was done. And this is not like that. I mean, you can tell it's dry, but it's not going all the way down and too tannic and making it really dry and feeling like you need to go down this glass of water here.
But
very interesting.
It's dominating enough to where I'm gonna have to really think about this. I'm definitely getting the brown sugar again.
I'm getting almost a burnt caramel. There's a caramel note. You know when caramels has been cooking on the stove a little long and it's about ready to turn to be something you wouldn't want, but it's super dark, yet they pulled it off just in time. So it's not a super sweet caramel, but it's a caramel, it's caramel. That's kind of what I'm getting.
I've never had that.
Okay. We talk about this all the time because I like to cook and
I like to eat. I'm getting also a little bit of cinnamon toward the back, and let's kind of get into the finish.
I want to talk about the palate some more.
You want to talk about the palate?
Yeah,
okay.
I want to talk about the palate more because, I mean, I agree with the cinnamon, but I'm also getting a little bit of like an allspice with it. I might be getting a little hint of date. There's a slight slight sweetness that's very dark. It might not be date though. It's more fig-like because date is so sweet, and this is definitely not a sweet drink. So it's probably more like fig. It's that really dark fruit note.
Mm.
And then there's the cinnamon is definitely a baking cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a candy cinnamon at all.
No, it's not. The floral notes that I was getting on the nose, I'm not picking up now. I know that there's a percentage of rye in this, to a degree.
Yeah, well, yes, because every mash bill had rye.
Mm-hmm.
No mash bill had wheat. So there is a percentage.
Yes.
I can't tell you what. I'd have to get my math out and tell you what 20% and 16% and whatever.
Like I said, I'm trying to really process it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. The wood can mask a lot, but there's stuff there as you sit on it and think about it.
So we were just talking about. We took a little pause there to say that the mash bills are very high corn, like they're like 74-78% corn. So there should be a lot of sweetness from that. And the rye is running like in the 20s, right? It's not super high rye, but I think it's enough to get some spice notes in there. I believe, however, that a lot of the spice notes are coming from the wood.
Yes.
Because they taste more like wood spice notes to me than it does a rye spice. But it does have this like undercoated kind of sweetness that it's not. If you love a sweet bourbon, and I enjoy them from time to time. If I want a sweet one, I typically go with a wheater. Mm-hmm. But if you really enjoy a sweet profile or a high fruit profile, this is probably not for you. Probably more than the wood, right? Because there's not a lot of fruit notes in here. I'm getting a little bit of fig. That's about it. And there certainly aren't a lot of sweet notes. And there's a light brown sugar. Again, I said there's a really dark caramel. But that's kind of it on the sweet notes. So if you need to be someone that likes a more savory bourbon that also appreciates wood notes. And then this would probably be a great fit for you.
Now, it's funny because I am getting rye in it, but it's mostly corn. And I can understand why they did as high a percentage of corn, because I think if they pulled back and this were at 65 and there were rye in it, I think it would heavily clash with the barrel. I think it would make it almost bitter.
Well, I mean, they're source barrels for the mash bills, so it's whatever those distilleries do. So I'm not sure they were really probably tasting those barrels to see what they wanted. And I think in the press release, Dan Callaway talked about really looking for things with age, because he felt that age was going to be important to complement the barrel. Yeah, he felt like a younger bourbon was not going to be able to do it. Which makes perfect sense.
I would agree.
And I would never argue with him because he is so smart on this stuff. It's ridiculous.
He definitely is. And that's the reason why he makes the big bucks.
So let's do another taste now, and then we can get to the finish, because I know you've been wanting to do that. I'm definitely getting some leather and tobacco notes on the finish.
I'm still getting rye notes. And it's funny. There are ryes we've had in the recent
What
past.
in particular are you getting of a rye note? So
I am getting ryegrass.
Ryegrass. Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting that at all.
For whatever reason, I am.
It's kind of funny for me. I feel like I'm getting more sweet notes on the finish than I had on the palate. I mean, the fig is coming through on the finish, where it was just slight on the palate. And I'm definitely getting like tobacco and leather, which is obviously coming from the wood.
Tobacco, leather, the barrel. There is something fruity there. I don't want to say it because she just said it, but there is something fruity there. And she usually tends to pick up fig. I don't. I picked up date every once in a while. But there's something like it's like a stone fruit there.
Yeah. But it's not sweet, super sweet.
No, and it's not like a cherry, and it's not.
But it's hint of sweetness, and that's how I feel the whole way through this. Whether it's the nose or the palate or the finish, it's teasing you with a sweetness, but it never really gets sweet.
I'm fascinated though with the finishing in very, very old trees that are not something you normally use for bourbon or any liquor at all. I'm really surprised that it's done as well as it has. I mean, it's definitely a nod to the distilleries that put their barrels into this to add to this bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Yeah, and I'm still contemplating this wood that has a super, super high density, and I'm wondering the interaction with the spirit in the barrel has to be different than it normally is with a more porous wood. You know, I know we're always dealing with oak, but some of them are more, they're just much more porous. And so it's kind of kissing the spirit more than drinking it in and pushing it back out.
Well, I definitely think that those older trees, it's what's lending to this having as strong of an oak, because I like oak. We've had quite a few that have that have a oak profile. This is probably the most extreme I've had on this level. It's really good. It is really good.
Well, I was getting ready to ask. I mean, do you like this?
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about these things, and it's like, you don't like this, but you know, you do like it though.
Yes.
Would you buy it again?
Yeah.
If you had, I mean, if when May 10th comes up and we're eligible to buy it again,
would
we buy it again?
I would probably buy a dozen bottles of this.
If we were allowed.
Yeah, if we were allowed. I really like it. It is not for everybody. Trust me, if you like sweet bourbons, pass. If you don't like wood at all in the palate or in the back, pass.
If you are someone that, you know, you're looking for that cherry you really want something cherry or fruit forward, this is probably not for you either.
And
I'm not trying to convince people not to go buy it. I'm just saying I don't want you to spend $100 on a 375 milliliter, you know, that you have to kind of look for because you can only get it at certain times. They only put out so many a day. Just maybe the hunt wouldn't be for you.
Yes, and I don't know how this would pair with a cigar. I
don't think I would.
I wouldn't because there are so few bottles.
And there's so little spirit in this 375.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to because typically when I'm drinking with a cigar, I drink a little bit more.
Right.
And I'd be afraid we'd finish this bottle off if we were having it with a cigar. It would probably be really good. I just don't think it would be wise.
And we've come close to have that happening in the past. So yeah, it would not be.
Especially if you're outside, it's summertime, it's kind of warm anyway. And yeah. So yeah, they probably wouldn't be wise to do it. It would probably be fantastic, but I wouldn't recommend it.
So let's wrap this up. This is really, really good. Once again, you like wood, this is your bottle. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Steve Nally, Dan Callaway. This is outstanding. This is a pleasure that you went through the process to put this thing together. It's well worth it.
And what an historic bottle.
Oh, absolutely. And there's never going to be another. We're not going to be able to get the French to cut those trees out like that. I mean, for bourbon of all things, you know. And anyway, cheers to all of you out there. Always remember to drink responsibly. And if you like what we do, please hit the subscribe button. Cheers.
Cheers.